What's happening, everybody? I keep thinking I'm going to do one of these reads one of these days, and I'm not going to have a raspy voice, but then the night before I go out and hang out with a bunch of degenerates and scallywags and end up hooting and hollering and yelling, and the cycle continues. In any case, today's guest is drum pummeling prog metal ripper Brad Rice of Atlanta's Lazer Wulf. I was able to catch up with Brad actually on a gig my band Beast Modulus played, shameless plug, alongside Dead Empires, whose drummer Phil Barch I did an episode with, and I will be actually putting that out this Thursday as a continuing edition of the Brooklyn Underground series, so be on the lookout for that. In any case, Brad and I talked about Lazer Wulf's tour with Mutoid Man, and Brad filling in for drummer Ben Koller on a couple of songs during that tour, unexpectedly. His original instrument prior to the drums, the process of how he found himself in Lazer Wulf, and how the writing process of the band works. Early influences, touring life, seeing Tool, Mastodon, the Dillinger Escape Plan early in their careers, day jobs, and more. And by the way, if you haven't already, check out Brian's work with Cinemechanica Live, a super killer band. And as I mentioned Cinemechanica, I should also say check out my interview with drummer Mike Albanese for episode 19 of the Crash Bang Boom podcast. That was a long time ago. My God. In any case, shout out to St. Vitus Bar for putting on this particularly killer show with 3 really fun bands. Always psyched to play there, and thanks for making so many of these podcasts possible. So yeah, St. Vitus Bar rules. Shout out to my sponsor, New Orleans Record Press. Going over to NewOrleansRecordPress.com if you're looking to put out vinyl for your project. You can get all kinds of cool album patterns, colors, get real-time quotes for packaging, mastering, and more, and a quicker turnaround time to boot, at least while it lasts. So go check them out, NewOrleansRecordPress.com. Put out some vinyl, y'all. So here we go. Atlanta thrash, prog, predominantly instrumental, spazzy power trio, Lazer Wulf, Brad Rice. Crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
Brad Rice, what's happening, dude? How the fuck are you doing?
Dude, I'm great, man. Glad to be back in Brooklyn, you know?
Absolutely. It's great having you.
Yeah. We're really happy with the way this show turned out too, man. We for a last minute thing, we couldn't have been happier.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I love it that Lazer Wulf and we were all able to put together a fun bill. It was kept fairly last minute, but
Absolutely.
Man, it all came together. And I mean,
yeah,
I'm always surprised at the savages that come out on a Sunday or a Monday night. I'm like, what are these people doing? I'm glad they're here, but I'm curious as to why they can stay out and get wasted on a school night. So
totally, man. We are definitely surprised with the turnout.
Yeah.
It's always very hit and miss on weekdays. So.
Of course. Y'all just got off of a pretty fun tour with a band that I am a fan of for sure,
Totally.
and Mutoid Man.
Yeah, man. Huge fan right here too, man.
God damn it, Ben Koller. That guy can play the drums.
Yeah, getting a free drum clinic from him, pretty much every night.
Fucking night
was amazing. Yeah, I mean, one of the nicest people I've ever met too. So
yeah,
it was definitely a pleasure, and we're super lucky and thankful, to be a part of that tour for sure.
Fuck yeah. How did y'all end up getting hooked up with that one?
So, their bass player Nick, we've known him for I don't know, about the past 3 or 4 years. He ran sound for us at St. Vitus.
No shit.
The first time we ever played here, actually.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, about 4 years, I think, something like that. 3-4 years.
Is there video of that? Because I've seen footage of y'all in I think
Maybe.
2015.
We've been here a few times, in between then. I know there's a pretty good video of us when we played with Weed Eater and Full of Hell.
That's right.
That was a tour too, man. That was
right.
That was a lot of fun.
Travis is a fucking crazy drummer.
He's amazing. Yeah,
he's awesome.
So interesting to watch too, man.
He's
I love
crazy.
That guy, yeah.
First time I saw him was with Whores. The first few times that they came through, obviously from Atlanta as well.
Absolutely, man. We love those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had Donnie on, obviously Whores drummer now.
Yeah.
And he was great. And at some point, I got to get Travis on when he comes back through.
Yeah, you do for sure, man. That guy's great. He's a character for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, how did all the shows go? How did that tour go with Mutoid Man?
Yeah, Mutoid Man. I mean, that was honestly, one of our best tours that we've ever done. It was really good. I mean, it was Mutoid Man for us is a really, really good fit.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we had a feeling, it was gonna be a really, really good tour for us. And I mean, the crowds were insane. The turnout was great. The energy from the crowd was amazing.
Yeah.
We couldn't have asked for a better tour. We just 2 weeks is great. Would have loved a month.
Yeah.
But no, it was all good.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Definitely complimentary bands, man. I love Mutoid Man. I've loved the records. I especially love the most recent record. I love your records, man. Y'all are a killer live band, and I think that's a great mesh. So I can see how that would have been a good time.
Yeah, man. We're definitely hoping to do that again.
Fuck
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Well, you had a bit of a surprise in that you ended up playing some Mutoid Man songs on that run.
Yeah. That came out of the blue. I think about halfway through the tour, Ben had to leave for some personal matters. Unfortunately, it was really really sad to hear that. But yeah, they asked me if I didn't mind filling in, at least for some of the set, anyways.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, it was a little stressful, filling in for that guy.
Yeah.
Big shoes. But
I can see that. When I heard that you were doing it, I was like, I can actually see some of that working.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Mutoid Man since we met Nick, and since they been coming out with their albums. I mean, I've been listening to those guys on a pretty regular basis. So it was stressful, but on the other hand, I already knew all the songs. For the most part,
at least from a listening standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, so I ended up really only playing two songs at the end of their set. They got Chris Maggio to come in.
Former Trap Them drummer.
Exactly, yeah. To come in and play most of the set, which he fucking just crushed it,
That guy is a goddamn animal.
On very little notice, he came in and just slayed. So
was he doing the floor tom bass drum thing together?
No,
on that, or was he playing actual double bass?
He was doing double bass, yeah.
Okay, because in Trap Them he would
exactly,
not,
yeah, which was fucking insane.
Boom.
I think he had actually told me. I think when he joined Sleigh Bells, they wanted him to learn how to play some double bass. So
that's wild.
So yeah, I think that's when that's what he told me is when he first learned how to play some double bass. So
wow.
But yeah, he fucking crushed it though. So yeah, they basically the way it went for like the past few nights was that he would play pretty much the entire set.
Yeah.
And then I would come on for the last two songs. So I ended up playing Date with the Devil and Manimals, which are two just extremely fun songs to play.
Fuck yeah. Date with the Devil rules.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
I love that song. When they asked me to play that one, I was like, let me do that one. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's badass.
For
Dude,
sure.
It's funny, man. I just put out my interview that I did with Dale Crover.
Oh, cool.
And I saw Unsane open up for the Melvins, and Vinny, the drummer of Unsane, nearly died like 2 days out from going out on the tour. So Cody, because at that time the Melvins were the double drums, so it was Cody and Dale, and they split the difference on the Unsane set. So I saw Unsane with the drummer splitting the set. So it's kind of funny that you actually ended up in a similar situation somehow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely wild.
Yeah. I mean, for as unfortunate as it was that had to happen.
Yeah.
It also was one of the most fun I've ever had playing drums. I think I had a smile on my face the entire, for both songs,
Yeah.
It was so like surreal,
Absolutely. Were you able to rehearse with them?
Okay, yeah. Here's the thing.
So here's the thing. That's what I'm curious about.
All right, so I did rehearse with them for about 10 minutes during a sound check while Ben was still there too. That was his last show playing with Mutoid Man. And so I got up on stage during sound check for about 10 minutes, ran a few songs that I knew. And so having Ben kind of like standing there.
Oh.
So,
no shortage of pressure there.
Exactly, yeah, for
Jesus
sure. But no, he was
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it was cool though. Got me a chance to kind of get a little comfortable playing with Steve and Nick.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was only a 10-minute, little
Right.
rehearsal, during sound check. And then after that, they went to go meet up with Chris.
Yeah.
And they spent, pretty much most of their time with him since he was going to be playing,
Playing the majority of
the
the set
bulk
anyway.
of the set for sure. So yeah, then I didn't get to play with him until the first show I played with him was in Grand Rapids, and just kind of was like, we'll see how it goes.
Oh shit!
But it was, I don't know, man. It was
The video,
went
I
pretty
saw
well.
it sounded
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Cool, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was about as good as I could have pulled it off.
Yeah, no doubt. On extremely short notice and minimal rehearsals.
For sure, man. Yeah, it was so much fun though.
Wow, that is badass, man.
Yeah.
Well, what goes on from here? I know y'all are spending the night in Jersey tonight, and
Yeah.
then you have a bit of a long drive back tomorrow.
About a 13-hour drive home.
Sweet
Yeah.
13-hour
Yeah.
drive.
We'll split it up.
Yeah,
But,
man.
Yeah, it's a long time in the car for
The
sure.
whole band is based out of Atlanta.
Yeah. So I mean, I live, just a little bit north of Atlanta,
Okay.
just outside. But yeah, we're all in the Atlanta area.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Fucking A, the first time that I went through Atlanta, somehow, because I grew up in southeast Louisiana, near
okay,
New
cool.
Orleans, and the first time that I went there was probably like 2004. So it was a pretty long time ago, but I remember at that time going into like East Atlanta and hanging out down there, and I was
yeah.
like, I could live here.
dude, East Atlanta is a cool spot, man.
It's cool as
we
fuck.
really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, lots of clubs. It's fucking rock and roll. It's cool as shit, man.
Man,
I'm a fan of Atlanta, despite being a
Yeah.
New Orleans Saints fan, which makes it a little hard to root. I basically, when it comes to sports, it's a different
For
thing.
sure. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
It's a little touchy for me.
For sure.
Yeah. Where did you grow up, man?
That's a tough question. All right, so I moved around a lot when I was a kid.
Or were you was your father in the military?
No, I mean his
You were a gypsy.
Well, maybe.
Come on, here we go.
Right.
It comes out. Son of a gypsy.
So yeah, no, my dad, his job just moved us around all the time, like pretty much constantly. So I mean, I was born in Indiana.
Okay.
Don't remember being there. Was
Okay.
there for like maybe a year. Yeah. Then we moved to North Carolina.
Okay.
Was there for a while, and we actually lived outside of Atlanta for a couple years though.
Okay.
Before I ended up like moving there as
Yeah.
an adult. I went to high school like in Tennessee. Fucking lived in Florida for a while, and then yeah, actually from Florida is when I moved back to the Atlanta area, and yeah, so that's. Yeah, currently where I'm at.
Well, in all of those moves, at which point did you start gaining interest in playing drums?
Okay, so, well, as far as like music in general,
Yeah.
I started playing actually the clarinet when I was in 6th grade. So
That's not the most masculine instrument.
exactly, yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. All right, here's the thing. So when I was in 6th grade, teacher walks into our room, says, "Hey, does anybody want to come with me and learn how to play music?" I was like, well, it gets me out of class right now, so...
Well, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I'll do it for sure.
Raise the hand.
So, they had us, like, try out, like, all kinds of, instruments, and that was actually the only one that well, obviously besides, like, the snare drum, but...
Yeah.
It was the only one that I could really make, like, any kind of actual noise with, like, trumpet, I just didn't, like, right off the bat, didn't really,
Right.
couldn't really get.
There's lip control.
Exactly,
There's all
yeah.
kinds of shit.
So I was like, clarinet, making some noise. All right, fine, let's do this, So I actually ended up sticking with that for a while, and ended up in high school, ended up going to like bass clarinet, which
That's a
a
cool.
little
That's
bit,
actually
yeah,
a super
I actually
cool.
had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't sad about that
Yeah.
at all, and ended up playing that throughout pretty much all of high school.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like my senior year of high school was until when I got into like percussion.
Oh, okay. Once
my-
you heard the roar and the thunder of the
Dude,
glorious drums,
honestly-
you could no turning back.
Cool,
You were
man.
like, fuck a bunch of clarinets. I can hit rim shots, bitches.
Pretty much, man. Well, I went to high school in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is just north of Chattanooga.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
It's really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But our drum line was fucking insane.
Really?
It was they were so good. So they would go like do like marching band. They would win, even if the band did kind of shitty. It wasn't
Yeah.
great. The marching band won all the awards.
Come
every
on.
fucking time, dude. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The percussion instructor he knew his shit, man. He was really good.
Wow.
So it was like kind of seeing that. It was like, damn, percussion looks pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I think when I got my first drum set, my younger brother, he started in band, and okay, yeah. So
what did he play?
He started playing the trumpet.
Okay.
Right away. So my parents bought him a trumpet, and not long after they bought him the trumpet, the school was like, "Hey, we kind of need French horn players. You mind doing that? You know,
Yeah.
and we'll supply them the instrument."
Right.
So then we had this fucking trumpet that nobody's
Trumpet
using.
Brothers.
You know? Yeah. So we had this trumpet that nobody's using. You know. So then I somehow talked my parents into like, "Hey, let's trade this in for like a drum set." You know.
There you go.
So we traded it in at the local music store for a shitty little drum set, and that's
Yeah.
when I started like actually like trying to play drums.
Yeah.
And it just my interest grew and grew and grew until this is what I want to play, you know.
Right.
And I was self-taught for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then I started taking lessons. And then once I got really interested, the reason why I moved to Atlanta was to go to the Atlanta Institute of Music.
Oh.
So I went there for about 4 years. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. And that's where I learned most everything that I know now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really, really awesome school.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, but actually, when I met Lazer Wulf, this is the interesting part, is when I first started in school, I was looking for like a cover band, you know, something to actually make money, you know,
Right.
while I was in school, not an original band, but
Yeah.
so
That's sensible enough.
exactly, yeah, makes sense. But so Brian got in contact with me. There's a website called bandmix.com. I don't know if you're aware of what that is, but it's basically like a website for musicians to get in contact, you know, form bands, you know, if
Yeah.
they're missing like a member, you know, maybe find like a drummer, guitar player, whatever. So, you know, Brian hit me up on there, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm in a band called Lazer Wulf. We just lost our drummer. You know, we need somebody like now, you know."
Yeah.
And you know, so I was like, Lazer Wulf, what a fucking silly name, you know? I was like, well, and I mean, you know, I got a lot of you know, people sending me shit, you know, like, "Hey, we need a drummer," you know, and I'd listen to all of it because you never know.
Right.
A lot of it wasn't great or what I was into.
Yeah.
But I would always listen to it. So, you know, after Brian sent me that, you know, I listened to one song off their like demo album, and I was like, holy shit. This is exactly what I want to do. This is insane, you know. This is just crazy, you know, awesome music.
Really?
So as soon as I listened to that one song, on the phone with Brian, I'm like, "Hey, dude, yeah, we need to meet up. You know, we need to practice. You know, we need to see if this will actually work. You know."
Yeah.
And that's actually how I got involved with Lazer Wulf.
That's wild.
About like 7-8 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So you spent 4 years in music school only to answer an ad?
Well,
basically.
no. Actually, that was at the that was at the beginning of me going to school. You know,
so you were still in school
actually,
during it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to school. Was also like in Lazer Wulf during that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Got you.
But I mean, honestly, that's mainly what I do. You know, even like after school is, you know, I don't do much with like music like as a career. I'm actually just, you know, basically with Lazer Wulf.
Yeah.
I work, you know, a job that I can actually tour, you know, that'll allow me to tour.
What
know?
is said job? Because this is always fascinating.
So
to
I
me.
work in a kitchen and make like fucking Philly cheesesteaks, you know, all, like hot food and shit, you know, like the normal like restaurant, you know,
Right.
kind of like, you know, artist, you know, restaurant job. So
Right.
which is fine. I mean, they give me as many hours as I need, and you know, whenever we go out,
Give you the flexibility of
exactly. If I tell them, hey, I need to be off for 6 weeks for a tour, there's nothing that they can say, you know.
Right.
So, and then you know, I go off for a tour, come back, they give me all my hours back, and it's you know.
That's cool.
It's flexible as hell, yeah, for sure. So
That's pretty
allows me to
impressive.
do all these tours with Lazer Wulf, which
Yeah.
is you know, which is what I want to do with my life right now, you know.
And mentioned your like formative years of playing drums and whatnot, and you said that you studied for a little while and this and that and the other. Are there any particular drummers or players or bands that you feel like even to this day have made a lasting impression on your playing that you can even sort of pinpoint that to? Because I've thought about that, and there are some bands I'm like, man, totally. I still got like some of that. I still kind of got it, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, one of the first like bigger like metal bands that I was really into was Mastodon.
Oh yeah.
I think I first came across Mastodon in like a Rolling Stone magazine like years and years and years back.
Yeah.
And they had a description of that band, and I was like, dang, that sounds really interesting. So what was it? Remission was the first album that I heard. I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
I saw them 3 or 4 times on that tour alone.
Yeah, okay.
I saw them play with the Dillinger Escape Plan around that time, which was really crazy.
That's insane, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
down in New Orleans, they came through. I was like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. And Mastodon opened.
Really? I
don't think anyone wanted to play after Dillinger, man.
No,
I mean, that was great. He just got into the band. He was blowing fire. Like, they were
for sure,
they were melting the fucking place.
That's a hard band to follow, for sure.
Yeah, and how insane is that to think about that? That Mastodon was, I mean, I don't know what the arrangement was or whatever, but when I saw that, I was like, as killer as Mastodon was, and especially during that phase, they were so fucking intense.
Exactly,
you know? But
sure.
Dillinger was just like, holy shit, man. How the fuck do you go on after that?
Yeah, man.
I mean, how they managed to do that for 20 years is a completely other question.
Dude, it's insane,
and we could do a 4-hour podcast recounting ridiculousness with that band.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we saw them in Atlanta on like their their last tour.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It was such a good show.
Yeah. I think that was the 14th or 15th time that I had seen Dillinger was the last time.
Nice.
I saw them from the beginning when they opened up for Mr. Bungle on the California tour when no one knew who they were.
Shit,
and I just showed up. I was like, all right, I'm ready to see this Mr. Bungle fucking show. Who is this band? The Dillinger Escape Plan. And then I was like, what the fuck was that?
I know, right? Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, it was insane. It was totally fucking insane.
Awesome.
So Mastodon was an influence, needless to say.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They very quickly, Braun was definitely, as far as drum wise, was a huge influence on my playing for sure. Yeah.
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 He's got he has a lot of Phil Collins in his playing.
I can
which
see that,
which is funny because they're like whether it's Brand X or Genesis or some of the proggier Phil Collins stuff, and I talked to Braun about it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I had him on the podcast, and
That's very cool.
We talked about it. So he's for sure a Phil Collins, and I knew that because during the Remission tour, I met him and talked to him in this shitty ass little club in this little like subsect of New Orleans called Fat City, and the place was called Zeppelin's, and I talked to him afterwards, and I was like, man, are you a fan of like Vinnie Colaiuta and Tony Williams? And he was like, probably more Billy Cobham than like Phil Collins.
Gotcha.
Or something like that. I might be fucking up some of the plays, but I remember him saying Phil Collins, and at the time, I only knew of maybe like a Genesis cassette tape that I had at the time, and I was like, oh, I remember that like Phil Collins played some crazy prog shit.
Oh, absolutely,
So Phil Collins is one of those dudes that is a fucking shredder.
Dude, that guy's fucking insane. Yeah, he really is, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because when you think of the name Phil Collins, you don't think of him being like
no. You think about
insane.
80s Phil
Exactly,
Collins,
but he fucking really is. You know, he really is. Yeah. So
you think about Studio, or you think about some other like 80s hit. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
That's crazy. Were there any other drummers in particular that you feel made an impression on you?
I mean, I'd been like a big Tool fan for the longest time. So, Danny Carey, obviously. Yeah.
That guy is just frightening. And I say that because of the borderline like autism that one would have to have to develop such recurring interdependence parts.
For sure, man. Yeah, because I grew up like trying to learn some of those songs, and it's just crazy. Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You almost. I mean, I basically when I tried to learn some of it, I pictured him just like mapping out like what he's going to play. Oh, he does. Okay. Well, that makes sense,
it's like and it has patterns, and it's geometric, and it's like as once again, hence my autism reference.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what the fuck?
God damn, dude. Yeah. So what does he do? Does he like just fucking like kind of write it out, like what he thinks he wants to play, and then kind of like tries to does it? Or
I've
what?
heard Maynard Keenan even reference it. He's like he called it their Rain Man process, which is once again a reference to autism.
Sure.
And he said he's like they go through years of this. Literally years.
I mean,
so he's
obviously,
playing this stuff for years, and he's working out everything so intricately, and it's so much a part of how he plays that they're all of these super independent parts that he writes.
Gotcha.
And so needless to say, what the fuck, Danny Carey?
Yeah.
That
guy's insane. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would love to meet that guy someday.
I'm dying. He's a bucket list like no other.
For sure, I bet.
I think the greatest show that I ever saw, quite possibly, was Tool on the Anima Tour. They came through New Orleans and they played, I believe, it was either at the Sanger or State Palace Theater.
Okay.
Either one, a theater, very ornate, beautiful,
Yeah.
like balconies, just gorgeous place. And it was like, I was on the front row of the balcony,
Whoa.
and they started playing, and people were getting so into it that I was feeling the balcony bend. And I was not that fucked up that it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
It was happening. And I was like,
Jesus.
fuck it, I guess tonight's the night.
Yeah.
And I was sucked. I was in the Tool vortex. It was killer, and I was like, this is the most incredible. To this day, it might be number one.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's number one or two. It's in the top three.
For sure, man. Yeah.
You know? Fuck. So, yeah, that was insane.
Awesome. Yeah, dude, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Well, tell me what's going on with Lazer Wulf going forward. Where are y'all at?
Okay, so yeah, coming off this tour, we're gonna go home. We're gonna, keep working on our new album that will be coming out eventually.
I like the looseness of this.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to rush it at all, which is been pretty obvious because our last album came out 3 years ago and we still aren't ready to record.
Right.
But
I like this. Y'all on the Tool side of things at this point.
It's looking that way, yeah. But we're looking. I mean, we're just looking to crush this next album.
Awesome.
So we have a couple songs we've been playing on. That we played on the Mutoid tour.
Cool.
That we were trying out. Just to make sure that everything was cool with those.
Those were
two.
some of the songs y'all played tonight as well.
Yeah. So it took up about half of our set.
Nice. New shit. There you go. Work it out.
Yeah, more very, very long songs. But, that's okay.
Yeah.
And we got one more that we're getting pretty close to, so go back home, hammer that one out.
Fuck yeah.
And then, I mean, shouldn't be hopefully too much longer. But then, obviously we got the, recording process and then the time it takes to actually put an album out.
Right, which is a whole nother
exactly
scenario.
So yeah, which is when I say eventually, but
right.
we are. Trust me, we are working on it. We are trying to get it out as fast as we can, but we're not trying to rush it at the same time. So
fuck yeah,
yeah.
Don't go too autistic, my man.
Exactly.
Don't go too autistic.
Yeah, we're extremely proud of what we've been doing so far.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
I think the records sound great. The songs are great. The recordings, the whole package has been great.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, dude, it was fun talking to you, man.
Yeah, man.
I know it's a quick
me.
one. I know y'all got to drive a fucking marathon set tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time, and I'll be looking out for all things Lazer Wulf in 2050 when the next record comes out.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah, don't die young, people.
Right.
Stay strong. Right on, dude. Good talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Brad for hanging and talking. It was great playing with them and checking them out. They are such a killer live band, and they've really got some great recordings. You will find the links to that stuff in the description. Be on the lookout this week for Phil Barch of Dead Empires, putting out an additional episode under the ongoing Brooklyn Underground series that I'm doing. So be on the lookout for it. Catch you on that one, hopefully, and catch you on more after. Crash, bang, boom.